I don't really care what anyone says, but the quarter life crisis is a thing. It really is. And I feel like I'm living proof of it. And I want to share my story. I want to share how I got through it, how I navigated the uncertainty of wanting to change life path and, kind of finding my direction again, I think. So a little context, I was doing my master's program and I got to a point where I needed to choose an internship, and everyone was saying like, oh my god, like finding an internship is so hard, it's gonna be like tough, whatever. I had very clear what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in environmental consultancy, like that was the industry I was looking for. And first internship I applied for, I got it. I was so happy, like everything was perfect. It was in another city, but like kind of close to where I lived, so I could commute a couple of days a week to the office. I didn't need to move. I was getting paid. It was like flexible working hours. Like it was just perfect. And I did the interview. The team was nice. I was great. I was like so happy. And then a couple of months in, like I started getting very stressed, and I was stressed out by the fact that I was, learning everything. Like I had never really worked in a company before, like in corporate. So I was getting used to this new rhythm, this new lifestyle, and at the same time I was finishing my master's thesis. So it was a lot going on at the same time. I would work Monday to Friday in the office, and then I would spend the weekend in the library trying to finish up my thesis. And this went on for like 3 months, and then I finally submitted my thesis and I could only focus on my internship. But in those 3 months, I started getting like physically sick. I started having serious issues with my period, like cramps, but I couldn't do anything. I could just take I could just swallow ibuprofen and be in bed. That was about it. And also I was getting like, my PMS was crazy. I was just not doing well. And I was sleeping very bad. Just my whole health was wrecked. And the reason was because I was just in this mindset of hustling and pushing, and like I felt like I had so much pressure from my internship, from my thesis, and I wanted to perform so bad. Like I wanted to achieve whatever result it was. And a lot of this was projections that I had, that I through other people I projected on myself, these expectations, because honestly everyone was very caring and helpful, so no one was expecting anything of me, but it was myself wanting to impress, wanting to be the perfect student, wanting to be the perfect intern, wanting to just make other people like notice me and be like, oh my god, she's she looks like she's really doing well. And also something else that I, now looking back, I realize, it's like I wanted to perform really high or really well, I don't know, and I wanted to make it look easy. I wanted to make it look effortless, like, oh my god, yes, I can work Monday to Friday and then study the whole weekend, and be fine. I can manage my relationship and work, and fun and social life. The truth was that I lost all my social life those months. I didn't have time to do anything. I just had time to be tired. and I remember since the first week of my internship, actually, I remember coming back like from work one day, and I had commuted to the office, so like I left my house at around like 7 a.m. and I came back at maybe 7-8 p.m. And I remember like looking at my boyfriend and be like, how do people do this? Like, I feel so tired. Like, what do you mean that there's like, this is the life? So it was kind of weird, no? Because I felt like I had achieved exactly what I wanted, the internship that I wanted, and it was exactly what I'd wished for. And then once I was in it, I was like, this feels awful. Like, I feel awful. But at the same time, there was this, this pride in proving everyone that I was on track, that things were coming together, that I was, submitting my thesis, that I was working on my internship, that everyone was happy, that I worked for this like consultancy firm. Like, I don't know, it just felt like from the outside, I felt great telling people what I was doing. And there was this sort of like, how do you say? Yeah, pride or recognition that I was feeling and getting of like, oh my God, like she got her shit together, like she's doing it. And then I remember towards like middle of my internship, my supervisor which I love her, and she came to me and she was like, Stella, just to be honest with you, I don't think we're gonna be able to hire you. We've never hired an intern, so just like to set your expectations, there's probably not, a future prospect here. And I was like, I was very hurt by that, and the funny thing is, like, I was hurt, but I knew I didn't want to stay there. I knew that wasn't the right thing. I knew I wasn't thriving there, but I was still hurt because I was like, my ego was so broken, and I was like, oh my God, like, they don't want me. I'm putting all this effort, and I'm like, suffering so much, like, and I'm not getting rewarded for it. And that kind of hit me. I was like, okay, then, like, I'm not doing well. They're not gonna hire me. Like, who am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? And then towards the end, I kind of came to term with accepting, and I was like, okay, you know what? Actually, the fact that they don't want to hire me is kind of good, because that way I can take a break. I can reflect on what I really want to do. I can recover. I was feeling really like every month my period would break me, and I was like, okay, I can take some time to get back on track, get healthy again, and just then figure out the next step. And so then I finished my internship. I graduated from my master's, and I got, well, through my brother, like, I kind of got this part-time job, very flexible, very easy, very convenient for the time. So I started working there, and the great thing about this job was that it did not require really a lot of effort in a way. So I would listen to a lot of podcasts. Basically, this is what I want to say. I would listen to a lot of podcasts during my shifts, and I kind of stumbled upon this. I don't even remember who he was, but I don't know, this guy who started talking about like, it was something along the lines of like divine timing, or like kind of accepting that everything has a meaning, and so we don't just get things randomly. And so I started seeing everything from this perspective, like not everything, but like what was happening to me. So I was like, okay, if they didn't hire me and I don't have a job right now, and I ended up working in this like, part-time, non-qualified position, maybe it's actually for a reason. I remember clearly thinking in those months, like right after I finished my internship and my master's, that I was like, I know that if I know that if I got a job right now, I would burn out in like a couple of months. but at the same time, I really wanted that job so bad because I wanted someone to tell me like, hey, like, we want you, you know, like, you didn't just waste this time studying, you didn't waste all this effort that you put into getting this master's. We recognize you and we want you. So I was kind of stuck in this loop, you know, wanting something, but knowing that it wasn't the right thing for me, knowing that I really needed a break and I really needed to stop. And yeah, it was kind of a situation in which I was aware of this, but I didn't want to accept it. So I kept applying for positions that were, you know, in the field of what I studied for. So it was kind of like, I studied international development, so so it was kind of the politics and governance of international development. So I would apply for roles that fit that industry, field. I don't know if industry is the right word. And I wouldn't get anything. Like, first of all, I was applying. I didn't even know what I was applying for. I remember at some point, I applied for a job in Sofia, Bulgaria, and I was like, the moment I applied for it, because it fit perfectly my description, it was like, the position was junior consultant for international development, and I was like, oh my god, like, that's me. And I applied for it, and then as soon as I applied, I was like, but do I actually want to move to Sofia? And I was like I don't think so. Like, I'm happy where I am. And I would do this for a lot of positions. I would apply for something that I would read the description and be like, this is so not what I want to do, but it kind of feels like it's what I have to do, you know? And then I would look at my boyfriend or other friends that are in the same field, and they would be interested in those positions. Like, I remember showing some vacancies to my boyfriend. I was like, oh my god, like, that sounds amazing, that is great, like, you should apply. And I was like, this is amazing? Like, what do you mean? Like, do I actually have to do these things? I remember writing motivational letters that I was like, why am I applying for this position? I don't know. Like, the honest answer would have been, my motivation for this vacancy is that, like, I want someone to tell me, like, we want you. Like, I just wanted validation, you know? And so I kept applying for a few months without getting anything. Like, I did one job interview in which they ghosted me, and the rest never replied. I never got an email back. Well, that's not true. I got email back saying, like, we don't want you, or saying we found another candidate, you know? But now looking back, like, I'm not surprised at all, because I didn't want those positions either. You know, I didn't want to work in that place, in that office. But yeah, it took quite some time to actually accept that, because I wanted so bad to be coherent. I wanted so bad to be the person that had it all figured out, that I studied, you know, a bachelor, a master's degree, and then I would find a job in the same field. But at some point I had to come to terms that wasn't my way, that wasn't my path. And actually, you know, the way I realized was that no door was opening. I was like, it felt like I kept, you know, just banging against a door that wouldn't open. And then it kind of clicked to me. I was like, okay, like, I want to be in front of a door that I don't even have to knock on, you know, that just opens. Because I feel like that's how it's supposed to be. Like, when I looked back at decisions and situations in my life that were right, I didn't do anything. Like, honestly, I didn't hustle for it. I didn't suffer. I didn't do any sacrifice. And I'm not saying that needs to be the case all the time. Like, sometimes we do need to give up things, or, you know, put effort or work hard for stuff, but it shouldn't be draining. If that's the case, then it just means that it's not right. That's what I've learned. And I remember also, like, about my applications for jobs, I remember, like, I remember talking to friends about it, and they were like, because I was saying like, there's like these positions I feel like I'm applying, but it's not actually what I want. And they were like, oh yeah, no, but that's normal. Like you need to like, you know, struggle, do things that you don't like for a couple of years, and then you'll reach a position where you'll be happy. And I was like, I don't want that. Like, what do you mean that I need to put myself through like years of like suffering? And given my experience in mentorship, I was like suffering not only, like, oh, I don't want to do this thing, but okay, I'm gonna do it. But I was like physically sick. I was stressed. I was anxious. My sleep was fucked. And I was like, I don't want to put myself through that, because maybe after that, one day I will, like, that will get me to a position in which I will be happy. And what does happy mean in that situation? Because I think often happy, then it means like you understand how the system works, and so you're in that, competitive, you know I don't want to say capitalistic, because it's not necessarily the right term, but in this like, okay, we're producing, we're growing, we're making things, we're doing stuff. But then it's like, for me personally, I couldn't feel, it was intangible for me. I did not see the impact. And so I was like, okay, even if I see myself in my, in a senior position in that same industry, I wouldn't feel happy, because I'm not doing actually something that I feel is aligned, with what I want. So then I finally accepted the fact that I was like, yeah, I was just trying to force something that was not meant for me. And at some point I just decided to quit. And that was the best decision ever. I decided to go to Spain to do a yoga teacher training. I'd been doing yoga for many years, and I tried doing a teacher training before, but then it didn't work out. And then at some point I was like, you know what, I really want to I really wanted to have, it's funny, I'm in like next to a lake, and there's people like bird watching, and there's like, I don't know, 30 people that just pulled out their cameras and everything. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted. But yeah, so I decided to quit everything and to go do a yoga teacher training, because I was like, okay, I want actually a job or something that is aligned with the lifestyle that I want. And the lifestyle that I want is one in which I'm healthy, I'm thriving, I feel good, I feel good in my body, I feel connected to my body. Because that's also another thing. I feel like, especially those months that led to this like sort of crisis or burnout, or I wouldn't really call it burnout, but to this, kind of crisis and decision to quit everything. Oh man, I was so not in tune with my body. I was so like, I did not even feel myself, I felt like I was just in, I don't know, someone else's body. I would look in the mirror and be like, who is that? And I'd lost total touch with it. I'd always struggled, even before those, let's say 6 months. I'd struggled with like eating disorders and addictions. I used to smoke, drink when I shouldn't have been drinking, like these kind of things. I had a lot of issues with food, sports, like anything. I used to really have an addictive personality, right? So whatever it would be like, give it to me, whatever could numb myself and make me not listen to what my body actually needed. But in those months it got quite bad. Actually, like in those months I was not smoking, I was not, relying on any substances actually, but I was just, I don't know, I was just not feeling myself at all, especially with like all the hormonal problems that I had. Like it was just bad. So I decided that I wanted to live a lifestyle and have a job that would allow me to actually feel good. And I knew that being in an office 9 to 5 in front of a screen was not gonna cut it for me. So then I went to Spain. I did this teacher training. And the moment I came back from Spain, like within, I don't know, 2 weeks, I had gotten myself a place where I could teach. Things were just like so smooth. Like my brother talked with a friend who had a gym and was looking for a yoga teacher, and it just happened. And in that moment, I also realized, I was like, you know what I was saying before about doors, you know, it's like in the right doors, if you're in front of the right door, you don't even have to fucking knock, like the door just bursts open. And so now I've decided that I'm really just gonna do what makes me happy, and, you know, invest the time and energy in things that are filling my cup and are not draining me. And I'm not gonna do anything for because that's the right thing to do, you know, because that's what I think is right, that's what I think is expected of me. But someone recently told me this, it's like decisions, like the idea is that like decisions should be made on the basis of how you feel doing something. You know, it's not about, oh, I think this is good for me, I'm gonna do it. It's like, how do I feel doing that thing? How do I feel in that environment? And then do that. But the tricky thing with this approach is that indeed you need to be in tune enough to actually be able to feel, well, allow yourself to feel first, and then be able to recognize what those feelings are, right? Because I mean, when I was smoking, I did think that quitting smoking was best for me. I could think that, but I couldn't do it. So, you know, it's like you also need to have developed, I feel like, a certain how do you say, like, well, self-awareness, I guess, and also coherence. And for me personally, how I achieved that, it was through, like, I think that honestly not getting that job in my internship and not getting any job after my internship in the field that I was aiming for was the best thing ever, because it really allowed me to like have a break, to stop and be like, okay, I had a part-time job, I would go there, but, you know, then the rest of the time it was just like, okay, like we have a blank page. Like I was like, okay, Stella, you have a blank page in front of you, like how do you want to fill it, you know? And it's kind of like, and that required me to get in touch with myself and be, yeah, exactly, like how do we want to fill it? Like, I don't know. So for me, how I achieved that, like, I think awareness or alignment, I don't know, call it how you want it, but it was through stopping, through taking a break, through allowing myself to be with myself, meditating, going on walks, being in nature, like, I don't know, like being outside, you know, connecting with my true self, and shutting all the noise of what other people were saying, what other people were thinking, what I thought other people were saying or other people were thinking, you know? It's so easy to get stuck in this machine, in this system that just keeps running, and it's like, do you say it in English as well? Like an hamster, you know, the things that like hamsters run in, that as long as the hamster keeps running, you know, it keeps moving, but then the hamster is like, how do you stop it? And it's like, well, you should stop, you know, but like the hamster doesn't know it. Sorry, that was weird, but you know, you got my point. You got my point. So yeah, I felt like I was a freaking hamster, just like a hamster wheel, I think that's what it's called. I just kept like, you know, running on that freaking wheel until I was so exhausted that I kind of, you know, dropped that on it almost. Not literally, but that's the thing, you know, there are people who really do get sick, you know. If you're pushing through all the time, then it's not gonna get you any good. And we're so caught up in this hustling mentality of like, oh, if you're not getting something, it's because you just need to work harder. If you're not where you want to be, it's because you're not pushing hard enough. That's bullshit. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just bullshit. And I don't mean to be rude to anyone if you're stuck in that, but you need to, like, there's always another way, you know, there's always another way. And you just need to be open also to the fact that the other way may not be what you think is the right way, you know. It's like, I would have loved, like, to this day I know that there's part of me that would have loved to be the one who fits in, would love to be the one that has a 9-to-5 job, that is thriving, that is happy, that, you know, wears heels and goes to the office, and like, I would love it. The truth is that I'm in my tracksuits 9% of the time. I'm the happiest when I'm in nature. I love baking my bread and, you know, giving yoga classes. That makes me the happiest. And it's not what I would have expected. It's not what I would have liked it necessarily, but this is the reality. So you also need to, you know, be open-minded enough to allow yourself to detach yourself from your identity, from the identity that you have created of yourself. Because I'd created an identity that was not me. And, you know, I could embody it for many years, actually, for a long time. And I thought I was happy. I was happy because I was achieving things that made me feel like I was fitting in. But it's not a long-term solution. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And that's also another thing. Like, if you wanna, I feel like my whole studies was about sustainability, so like, actually very passionate about it. So talking about sustainability, it's much more sustainable if you invest time and space and energy right now to take a break and really pause. And you're gonna save yourself so much I don't know, pain, so much. You're gonna save yourself so much pain and suffering, and you're gonna avoid yourself so much pain and suffering in the future. Because going back, I knew I would get lost. So going back to how I started this video, which is about, you know, having a quarter life crisis. I'm turning 26 this year, and I actually, like, this quarter life crisis, I see it as a blessing, because I'm like, I would much rather understand now at 25 that is not the way for me, that I can, you know, build a life for myself that feels true to what I want and what I need, rather than be, you know, 60 looking back and saying, man, that's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I was meant to do, you know? So I feel like I'm gonna end this soon, but the thing is that, you know, if you're experiencing something similar, like, I hope that by sharing my story, it's like, I know that so many people can resonate with this. I know that so many people get stuck in the cycle of like, you gotta, you know, earn your degree, you gotta then earn another degree, and possibly, I don't know, maybe another one, and then you got to find yourself a job, work in corporate, work for a company, live in a city, like, I don't know, like, be part of that system. But I also think that it's not what a lot of us want. It's not what a lot of, like, I feel like we're a generation that is kind of feels like that's what we need to do. But it's okay not to be wanting that, you know. It's okay to be dreaming of a different life for yourself, and you can do it. You can take the leap. You can change direction anytime you want, and trust me that it's a lot easier than what you think. And of course, like, you know, comfort is amazing. Like, being in the comfort zone and being, you know, in your bubble is great. And change is always hard and challenging, because we're going into the unknown, and the thing is like for our nervous system, for our body, something that is known to us will always be preferable over something that we don't know. So even if a thing that we know is not good for us, at least we know, and we know how to react. We have adapted. We're comfortable with it. And the unknown, even if we know, we feel that it's better than our current situation, it's always going to be scary. But if I can, provide some, how do you say, encouragement? I don't know. Like, I know that you can find a billion reasons. Well, a billion is a lot. Like, you can find a lot of reasons to stay in the situation where you currently are. If you feel stuck, if you're stuck in a maybe in a studies or in a job or in a career that you feel like it's not right for you, you can find so many reasons, I bet, to stay there. But I have, like, what I can share with you is the reasons that why you should leave. Maybe there are fewer, but they're so much worth it. It's like you're gonna gain your health back. You're gonna surround yourself by people that actually are aligned with you and share the same values and the same, vision. You're gonna feel like yourself. You're gonna heal from any addictions, any coping mechanisms that you might have developed. You're gonna feel so much more comfortable in your skin and in yourself, and you're gonna trust yourself so much more. You're just gonna feel better, and opportunities will come up. Like, trust me, the moment that you align, the moment that you're true to yourself, the road is clear, the door is open. As I said, you don't even need to knock. Like, it's just open. So yeah, thank you for listening. This was a long video, but yeah, I hope that I know you'll figure it out. I know. So good luck with that. Bye bye.